Hey guys, so today we're going to be discussing circumference and what circumference is and how we can use circumference. So let's start with discussing what is circumference. Circumference is the perimeter of a circle. Now what is perimeter? Perimeter is the total outside length of any shape, but in this case, circumference only refers to a circle. So it's all the way from one point all the way around the length of that circle. That was pretty dodgy, but you get the point. So in previous times, before we knew how to calculate the circumference in history, they used to use a string, and they used to start the string at one point of the edge of the circle, take it all the way around, and then they used to extend that string straight and measure how long it was. But once we figured out how to calculate circumference using a formula, we no longer use a method of that consort. Circumference is quite important in a lot of different aspects, especially building, construction, landscape, etc. And we use it a lot in engineering and other concepts such as that. So to make life easier, we've developed a formula for circumference, which is circumference equals pi times diameter. Now, in this video, we're not going to discuss the history of pi and how pi works. We assume that you understand that, and you can find that on your calculator. And we also assume that your understanding of algebra, when you have a variable or such as d or diameter next to a irrational figure such as pi, there's a multiplication in the middle there. So there are two forms of this formula: c equals pi times d, or c equals 2 pi r, r standing for radius. For our purposes, I'm going to use c equals pi times d. However, there is the other form, so whichever form you prefer to use, please use that. Now let's go through and discuss the simple parts of a circle in order to be able to understand how to use this formula. So I have three circles here, not the very best of circles I can see, but you get the point of view. Now, within the middle of a circle, if we have the distance going from the middle out, we can label this r, or we can call this the radius. The radius is the length that goes from the middle of the circle all the way out. Now, the next type of indication on a circle is when we go from one side to the other, and we call this the diameter. And this is the one that we're going to use here for our question. And we also have a section of the circumference of the circle, which we call an arc. So it's very important that you understand these three concepts in order to be able to calculate the circumference or the perimeter of the circle. Now, it's important to note here that diameter is double that of the radius. So if in a question it gives us the radius, we simply double it to do the diameter. And if it gives us the diameter, we know that the radius is half of that, and we can go back and forward as we need to. So let's do two examples here. In the first example, in my circle, I'm given the number 3. But looking at that number 3, I can see that's a radius because it's only half of that. So the first thing that I always do before I do anything is I always write the formula. It is a great habit to get into, to always write the formula, because as the questions get more difficult, we then have to do substitution and we have to change the subject of the formula, and that's where it gets in a very good habit for you to write the formula first. So the formula for circumference of a circle is c equals pi d. And in this case, I'm given radius, or r, small r equals 3. Therefore, diameter is going to equal 6 because we doubled that. So substituting the value of 6 into the formula where d is, we get circumference equals pi times 6. Now, it's very important that we can also use the value of pi as 3.14, but it's always better to use your calculator and use the proper value of the calculator as it's more specific. Pi times 6 equals 18.849555592. So we're going to round that off, and we're going to round it off to 2 decimal places, because I like to round off to 2 decimal places, where circumference equals 18.85. Now, that answer there is incomplete, because one, I haven't indicated what measurement that's in. Is that in millimeters, meters, centimeters? What is it in? It's in meters. And I also have to indicate that I rounded off to 2 decimal places. It's very important that you indicate your measurement and how much you round it off to. So my final answer is circumference equals 18.85. What that indicates to me is that if the radius of a circle is 3, the total outside perimeter is going to be 18.85. Now the next question, we know we're finding the circumference, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write my formula. Circumference equals pi d. Now in this question, they've already given me diameter, so I don't need to change it or calculate the diameter. The diameter is given. So all I have to do is substitute that value into the formula, where I have circumference equals pi times 16.5. Popping that into my calculator, I have pi times 16.5, and my answer is 51.83627878. So I'm going to round that off again to 2 decimal places as 51.84. Again, your measurement here in this case is centimeters, and I round it off to 2 decimal places, so I indicate that there. So it's a very simple concept. It's a very easy concept. You just have to put that in your calculator, and it will give you the answer there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to let you guys try to yourself very quickly. So if you can pause the video, try it yourself just to show that you understand, while I quickly go through the answers in a second. Okay, so let's go very quickly through this. So circumference equals pi d. Circumference equals pi times 4, because the radius is 2, so I have to double that to get the diameter, which is 4. Circumference equals pi times 4, which is 12.57. Oh, what did we do? There we go, 12.57. Meters to dp. Now with the next one, diameter is already given, so circumference equals pi d. Circumference equals pi times 13.7. Circumference equals pi times 13.7 equals 43.04. 43.04 meters, and again to dp. Now technically you should put the rounding off on the same line, but I don't have any space, so I'm just going to put it underneath. Now let's go on to a harder type of question, a more challenging question, where I have 2 arcs or 2 semicircles, 2 half circles that are joined together, and I want to find the perimeter of this. If you would like to pause the video and try it yourself, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to go through and calculate this and show you how we do this. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you that there's 2 different circles here. I have the purple one that I'm shading in now as my first half, and I'll have the red one to show you the second semicircle. So we're going to work with the purple one first. So the purple one has a radius of 7. That 7 shows me from the middle out is a radius. So circumference equals pi d. Always write your formula. Circumference equals pi d. If the radius of that purple circle is 7, that means that the diameter of that circle is 14. So circumference equals pi times 14. And I calculate the circumference equals pi times 14, 43.98. 43.98 meters to dp. Now, is that a whole circle? No, it's half a circle. So if I've calculated that the whole circle would be 43.98, but I only have half a circle there, all I have to do to this 43.98 is divided by 2. So if I divide it by 2, I get my length of my arc equals 43.98. 43.98 divided by 2, and I get 21.99. 21.99. So I've now done the first half, the purple half. Now let's do the red half, which is the same. Now the red half there, if the radius of the purple half is 7, that means that this line here is also 7, because remember the diameter is double the radius. So for the red circle, my diameter is 7. It's already given. So I can do circumference equals pi d. Circumference equals pi times 7. Circumference equals pi times 7. 21.99 meters to dp. Now again here, I only have half a circle. So I need to divide this by 2, because this 21.99 is for a whole circle with a diameter of 7. But I only have half, so I'm going to divide it by 2. And I'm going to get the length of my arc equals 21.99 divided by 2, which is 10.995. meters. Now, remember, the perimeter of a shape is all of its outside lengths. I found the purple section there, which is 21.99. I found the red section there, which is 10.995. But I still have this 7, this line here, which I haven't added on to that. So my total perimeter, P, is going to equal 21.99 plus 10.995 plus 7, which is going to equal, quickly putting that in the calculator, 21.99 plus 10.995 plus 7 equals 39.985. And don't forget to put your measurement, which is meters. And that is there, my final answer. So it's very important, guys, that you take your time with questions like this and you try and understand that if you have calculated the circumference of a whole circle, it's very simple for you to calculate either half of that circle or a quarter of that circle. Hope this helped. If you have any further questions, please let me know.